Hello, and welcome back to the Monsters of Monster Hunter Double Cross, where today we're taking on Najarala with Aerial Hammer. Mainly because Aerial is really good against Najarala. It's one of the monsters that's set to be weaker to the mount status than others, so it's easier to get mounts. And we're doing a Hyper Najarala, not only because I haven't done the quest before, but also because it'll last longer than a regular one. So let's go ahead and see what we can get. Yeah, let's go for Defender. Defender is good. And here we go. Time to fight us an angry snake. The only large snake wyvern in this game. And one of only two to exist, the other also being a Najarala. That being Tidal Najarala. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Tidal Najarala, though its color scheme is nice. Though also, G-Rank Najarala in this game kinda annoys me. With how it uses its scales, which, when they explode, instantly stun. And I do not have stun resist right now. Also, the scales that it flings out look an awful lot like corn nuts, so you'll probably hear me call them corn nuts at least once. So yeah, if you get caught in those explosions, you get stunned, no questions asked. Which is annoying. I prefer to not get stunned. And the fact that they cause your character to flinch when they just fly by you is especially annoying. Like, just everything about the corn nuts is bothersome. Well, at least I'd rather get launched by that roar than actual roar stunned by it. I was a little close to that, but thankfully I did not get hurt. And I imagine our next successful jump during which we get one of these... Okay, it didn't result in the mount. That makes me sad. Incidentally, this theme that we're listening to is named for Najarala. So at least it's fitting. There's our mount. And this totally necessary camera angle, which incidentally, during Monster Hunter 4 and 4 Ultimate, when you were riding this thing, the camera pointed at the front of you. But ever since Cross and Generations, it has instead been behind you because, yeah, totally necessary camera angles are totally necessary. Dang it. We gotta be close to a KO. Problem is, it's not so easy to always get this thing's face. Not when it's just standing. Likes to hold its face a little out of normal reach. Can't really see much, but at least I'm getting hits. And thankfully this guy hasn't actually used my least favorite of his attacks yet. The one where it just kind of does two swishes of its tail that shoot out corn nuts. Because those corn nuts will whiz right by you, thus causing you to do your little flinch. And they usually land pretty close to you, and they explode really quick. Like, even relative to normal corn nuts, they explode quick. Ah, dang it. Managed to have our invulnerability frames during the roar, which meant that we got to take the roar stun instead of the knockback. Well, we've got another spinning meteor at the ready for the next time we get a chance. Ooh. That's a KO right there. I would prefer to use it on the face. And I also would have preferred to get more than 2 hits. But unfortunately, the placement didn't really allow for it. Now let's get away from these corn nuts before they cause problems. Did you go this way? I don't think it went this way. No, it did not. Can it go 2 load screens from here? I don't think I've ever seen it travel like that before. Yeah, I guess it did do the 2 load screen deal. Never seen it take that route before. Not in 4, not in 4U, not in Cross, not in Gen, not in Double Cross, not in Double Cross again. So let's go ahead and get that paint on there to prevent any future confusion. Ow. I'd imagine we're probably not too far from a second mount. Though I do need to find the right timing, and right then was not it for doing my jumps. Hammer not quite as long as I want. I don't know how I managed to avoid getting hit there, but hey. And yes, we were quite close to this mount. Oh, you're just going to give it to us? That's fine. So ordinarily I would go for the face, but this time I'm going to go for this leg. Because this is the inside leg, which is the one that you can't usually get breaks on so easily, because it's on the inside. And when he's coiled up like this, the inside leg tends to be in such a position that you'll hit one of his other hitboxes before you hit the leg itself. So yeah, basically you need a knockdown or for him to be doing this nonsense in order to hit the inside leg. Ow! I was outside! Please let me out. Oh. That was very close. That's the sweep that I dislike. Seriously, let me out. You know what? Since the base camp's right here, I'll make use of it. Okay. Nothing nifty there. Seriously? Another 2 load screen jump? And one where it would have been faster if I hadn't left the base camp in the first place? Jerk. Hey, Snick. Well, at least that time we got pushed. Oh, thanks for putting your face in that. Okay. I want to get my purple shark back. That's a thing. Admittedly not a huge thing, but a thing. And there was that again. Thankfully I wasn't close enough for the corn nuts to actually bother me. Wow. Way to miss there. I should have hit A rather than X. I feel like I was too high up to get hit there, but I guess that's what happens sometimes. It's not about what I feel, it's about what the game feels. The fact that that little sweep doesn't flinch me, and thus I can get hit by both of them, is kind of annoying. What was the sub? Face and frill thing. Sure enough, we did break both. No, I don't want to be next to the corn nuts. Thanks for the boost, Slagtop. Sounded like I actually hit something there. Ow. Ow. That attack comes out way fast when it's hyper. Doesn't do too much damage, but I don't think aerial style actually really has much of a chance to dodge it. And that lets you see just how quickly that attack causes its own corn nuts to blow up. At least this time it only went one load screen. Though after a cat put down a trap. Snake's a jerk. Went ahead and pooped it in hopes that we'll get to use that trap. I do have traps of my own, but I do like getting to use the extras provided. I think gotta break this outside leg. It's a nice, easy source of a knockdown. Oh, there's a tail break. For reals, though. If you're stinky, please go back to where the trap is. That's the thing that I want out of you right now. For you to get trapped. Okay, looks like you might be going for it. Or you could be going... Ooh, yay, you're going in the direction we wanted you to. That's very kind of you. And you're popping out right next to the trap. Okay, the trap isn't 100% against a wall. That is certainly better than we've seen. Oh, no, it is. Just doesn't look it, because the invisible wall is not in quite the same place as the actual wall. But hey, at least we got some good hits there. Not all good hits, mind, but some. A little too far. Time for more necessary camera angles. Yep. I really have to wonder why they made that change. Because they definitely didn't have to. That much is for certain. And hey, since we were right at the edge of a ledge there when we finished that mount, we got to recover faster. And there's that leg break. And apparently we hit the tail with that last hit. So it's actually just fine that we hit the tail, because the tail is the only major flinch we have left. I would say break, but I'm pretty sure it isn't actually 2 breaks anymore. It was 2 breaks in Generations, but in this game you see it break and be fully broken before the second flinch, which causes the actual knockdown. So the second does cause a knockdown, whereas that's unusual for other times of flinching the tail. So I'm not certain whether or not it still is a break or whether it's just a bug that it doesn't really look any different afterward. But it's still the same behavior, so I still kind of want to go for it. So actually, if we got this guy in a trap, that would be the easiest way to kind of go for it. But then again, if it's not a break and there's no visual, we wouldn't really be able to tell whether or not we got it. So we have a dilemma. Yes, hello. Bit of a waste of my spinning meteor, that is. I really need to remember, this isn't Freedom Unite. I can combo. Where are you going? Okay, that's easy enough to follow. And I guess now that I know it can go multiple load screens at once, I don't really need to paint it, because if it's going just one, it'll actually go through where the load screen would be. And if it's going two, then it won't. And it'll be going to whichever area is in the direction it went. So, yeah, not too much reason to paint this guy. Yeah, let's just keep hitting that tail until we get a knockdown from it. And then we'll just go back to doing whatever we can to get damage in. Though I guess sometimes we'll hit the face instead of the tail, because that's just the way it works. This may be the only monster where you can actually be aiming for the tail and hit the face without the monster actually moving. Okay, I guess I'm in here now. I don't mind free knockdowns. Was trying to get over to the tail, but wasn't able to jump over. Seriously, I hate when those corn nuts go to me. They're just so bothersome. Oh, are you leaving somewhere? Oh. I guess maybe a paintball would have been nice, but I have an idea as to where it's going. And I hope that idea is correct. Actually, before I go in, give it extra time to get to sleep if that's what it's going to do anyway. Though I could capture it, I'm not gonna. I don't feel the need. Oh yeah, that's definitely it sleeping. So I guess we'll just use this here. And that is the tail flinch we were talking about. Dang it. I need to get out of here. Ooh, just in time. Dang it. Thanks, Genprey. I definitely needed that little bite there. Ow. It's a shame its arms aren't breakable. Like, they've got those little crests on them. You would expect that those would be breakable, but they're not. So I guess it's fine, because most of the time the arms aren't anywhere you can ordinarily reach them unless you're aerial style. So they would become one of those breaks that you'll rarely see. Oh, great. I need to get away from there. There we go. I'm glad that we haven't been exploded by any corn nuts yet. At least not that I can remember, though. Those ones are certainly trying. That might have been one. Yeah, it was. Auto stuns. I'm not a fan of auto stuns in any game, because literally by definition a stun prevents you from being able to continue playing for a little while. Dang it. Yeah, anything that stops you from playing a game, I'm usually not a fan of. Like, I get that there's value in it, because it's a very strong punishment, because not only does it keep you from being able to attack, but it also leaves you open to attack for a little while. It's a very effective status. I'm just... When things take control away from me, then I don't feel in control, I guess. Anyway, this guy, I don't feel like his textures for the most part are anything to write home about. He's very large, which means a lot of the textures get pretty stretched. I guess the scales on his face are nice, but everything else is just kind of stretchy. Also, what's with this seam on his beak? It's only on the one side. I think that's to do with the lighting more than the texture work. But it's still weird. Face looks nice. Rest of him kind of stretchy. Imagine that, a snake being stretchy. Not a lot of variety in our hyper parts there. And that is going to be it for this episode. Join us next time when we get started on the Brute Wyverns with Baroth. See you then, friends.